Good evening, everybody, to all the people of the world. This is another reaction video that I'm shooting. The title of the video that was posted by Mr. Madan Gowri read something like interesting questions to ask her. Now, the video starts off with Mr. Madan Gowri talking about his school days experience, where he says that he was pursuing his 11th standard, and there he had a crush on this young lady who was apparently his classmate. And then he did not speak to her at all. All he was doing was that just looking at her. And then when he graduates to standard 12, he realizes that this girl had already chosen another boy. And when he came to the realization that he had lost his beautiful lady love, he gets upset and he gets annoyed, and finally he realizes the reason that he had lost her was because he did not spell out his intentions, that he wanted to meet with her, that he wanted to speak with her, and so on and so forth. And he mentions that to be the motivation behind him taking the content. Now, there is just one problem with that. Now, if young people, specifically who are pursuing their 11th standard and 12th standard, were to get inspired by Mr. Madan Gowri's video, that they too, while studying their higher secondary, ought to venture out and make a bold attempt in getting their love. Now, what would happen if they were to take this advice from Mr. Madan Gowri and boldly go out and ask or propose to the girl of their choice while they were studying? Now, the consequences are not too enigmatic, or it is not too much of a complex to visualize what exactly would be the consequences if a boy who is supposed to be studying his 11th standard and scoring good, and then moving on to his higher secondary, that's +2, and getting a good score, thereby preparing himself for higher ambitious career. If he were to get obsessed with a girl and then propose to her, obviously the results would be like that of the one that we saw at the popular movie Kadal. What happened to the boy? The same thing would be the case with all teenagers who venture out in expressing their love and following their art. So that would be the ultimate output, or that would be the ultimate consequences. The reason is we are living in a world which is highly competitive, right? So the competition is so much that we are living in a world which is so much competitive, right? So unless or until you work on yourself, unless or until you are focused on your goal or on your career, life is going to be very hard, life is going to be very tough. So one of the reasons that brought me here, one of the reasons that made me to make the video is to bring about an element of understanding to the youth that life is not going to be a bed of roses, right? Of course, when you are starting off, when you are pursuing your higher secondary, your hormones are going to be high because your age is going to be around 16 or 17, and for sure, all the so-called infatuations would be bombarding you, right? And we have seen millions and millions of. Now, what happens when your infatuations, or when you give yourself up to infatuations? What happens? The consequences are detrimental to your own future. Well, what's so funny, or what's so really appalling is when Mr. Madan Gowri mentions that he heads off to meet the girl and tell her or ask her, okay, we have been seeing each other, and why did you do this thing? Immediately she says that she has already been committed, and there is things that are more than just merely looking. Well, the only situation that I can think of is that, well, the things that are more, or things that are greater than looking, would be the ultimate interaction between a man and a woman. And the world is now filled with teenage pregnancies, unwanted teenage pregnancies, future collapsing, and finally the outcome is losing your education. So Mr. Madan Gowri should be happy that he just stopped himself merely by looking at a girl, rather than heading off to speak with a girl. And what would have ultimately happened? So, to make a video content saying that, okay, it is all right to meet a person and then to start a conversation with her, and then to carry on with life, what really appalls me is the fact that what sort of commitment can a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old can give to each other? People who are grown-ups, maybe even 30 years plus, they cannot offer commitment in a relationship. It's impossible these days, specifically with the economy taking down people, right? The economy has become so much grave and so much terrible that it's becoming challenging to run a decent family these days. So, when you are in school, your purpose, your objective is to set yourself in such a way that you are achieving the required momentum to join a good university, a good higher education, so that your future can be secured. Instead of doing that, if you are going to be giving yourself up to crushes and to infatuations and to looks, you're done. Your life is finished. Ultimately, you would have to support the girl, and against the wishes of your parents and against the wishes of the girl's parents. Definitely the girl's parents are not going to be permitting this stupidity, and that will be the same case with the boys' parents. They're not going to be supporting the stupidity. So the consequences, to say, would be catastrophical to both the girl and to the boy, because education is precious, education is valuable, time is even more precious. Nobody is going to be investing in your future again. That's an opportunity that you have given up. Instead of getting yourself focused, and instead of putting an axe together, you wanted to really give yourself to infatuation and go behind this girl and say, oh, you're my dreams. That's the heights of stupidity that any sane person can ever imagine. just to say the least. Just to say the least. So, the take-home point: if you are studying in a school and you are in the age group of 16 or 17 or 18, and you are in a co-education school, stay focused. Whether you're a boy or a girl, the most important thing is to stay focused. Your objective in school is to complete your studies, right? If you're a boy, it is even more imperative for you to stay focused. You know why? 70% of all higher education degrees are now received or obtained by girls. So in the job market, what sort of jobs are you going to be obtaining at the end of the day? Security jobs, Zamato or something like that. I'm not really sure. That delivery jobs. You want to become a delivery boy? You want to become a security guard? You want to become a clerk? What do you exactly want to? What exactly do you want to be? Or do you want to focus on becoming an IAS officer or some position of repute, IPS officers, something like that, where people will regard you, people will respect you for what you are? Tamil cinema is giving you so many innumerable examples by which when a boy is not doing what he is supposed to do, his life is catastrophic, right? You have to go and see the movie Kadal, see the situation, what happens to the guy. You have to understand, movies are not fictitious. They merely tell the truth. So, if, of course, I know Mr. Madan Gowri always badmouths Tamil movie stars and Tamil cinema. To say the least, they are the best, I would say, they are the best advice providers, as far as I have noted. Okay, so much so to that particular point which I wish to mention. So if you are in school, stay focused. If you find somebody attractive, just keep it to yourself. Whether you're a boy or a girl, you focus on mathematics, focus on physics, focus on chemistry, focus on all the subjects that are necessary for you to appear for that. I was told there's a new system of education in India by which you have to qualify for that. So you prepare yourself well so that you can secure your future. Okay, the second question that Mr. Madan Gowri poses is that to ask a girl whether she likes village life or city life. Well, we are living in an environment where the villages are becoming cities now, right? Once upon a time, there was something like a village. But now modernization is touching every corner, every nook. So the element of village life is now almost absent. So if you had to ask a girl whether do you like a village life or city life, she will laugh at you. Well, of course, coming back to the point, this is for the mature audience. Villages are fast becoming cities now. The villages which I once knew are now cities in India. So the element of village can only be read and visualized in textbooks or in novels. So the world is totally changed. Well, coming back to the next question, he was just posing a question that it's imperative that you maintain a healthy relationship with a girl's friend. Look, let me tell you one thing. Of course, the girl may have one friend or two friends or many friends. You can't be pleasing all your friends. So you need to be man up. You need to be a man enough, right? So your machoism, how manly you are, should be quite visible in the way that you talk, in the way that you behave, in the way that you act. So if your so-called girl with whom you are interested in, if she respects you, definitely your friends will respect you. So the question of ensuring that her friends are in good vibe with you, that doesn't matter at all. The ultimate person is your the person with whom you are acquainting yourself with. That's the ultimate. That should be the ultimate focus that you should focus on. So if you are man enough, if you are truly man, if you are a charismatic person, if you have got all the virtues of being a strong man, you don't need to be worried about the girl's friend. They will ultimately fall in place. So don't go and keep pleasing her friends. Don't go and there's an English phrase what is called as kissing ass. Don't become like that. So that confidence can only come up into you or come up on you or come up with you if you have a clear set goal, a clear set ambition in your life. So without a clear set goal or a clear set ambition in your life, you wouldn't be confident enough even to speak to the girl. As I've always mentioned, girls are attracted towards or attracted to abundance. Remember that. So if you become a government officer or some officer of repute, the way in which you speak would be totally different. So that is one of the reason I was telling you, if you are in school, stay focused in your objective, stay focused in your purpose, stay focused with your goals. What do you want to be in life? You want to become a doctor, you want to become an engineer, you want to become a IAS officer? Work towards that. That is the key point that I wish to emphasize with regard to asking interesting questions. Well, if you really want to raise interesting questions to a girl, the first and foremost thing is you should make up your mind. Are you really willing to walk the walk with this girl and talk the talk? So it should not just merely be initiating a conversation and then going off tangent. That is never going to be working at all. So first and foremost, there is a phrase or there is a proverb in the English language which says, birds of feather flock together. So if you have an ambition and if your ambition is in tandem with the girl, with this particular girl or that particular girl with whom you have got interest with, then a lot of things will fall in place. Madan Gowri mentions the word being committed. That really makes me to question whether a 12th standard girl and a boy, do they really know the meaning of the word commitment or being committed? Are they really aware of what it takes to run a family? Right? So the element of asking interesting questions. Of course, there are a lot of websites which provide you can ask so many questions. At the end of the day, what are you going to do with all those questions? Of course, you can very well ask questions like, what would you do if your house is burning? What one thing that would you take and run? In the materialistic world, the answer would be credit card. Right? That's the most important thing you have to secure. Of course, if you were to say, well, I would look for my cat or I would look for my dog. Excuse me, you have your cat and a dog and then do what with that? Who's going to give you collateral? Even if you want to get an ID card, you have to issue collateral. No one is going to believe you. If your ID card is burned, the process is going to be long. Of course, you can ask questions like that. What would you do if you alone are in the lift, and what song would you sing? What's the point in singing the song? Instead of wasting my time singing the song or humming the song or waiting for the help, what I would do, I would immediately think, what should I have done to avoid that moment, getting caught in the lift? Or what foolishness did I ever do to get into the lift in an isolated manner and being stuck there. Coming back to the relationship concept, if you are serious, if you really like the person, the most important thing that would interest the girl would be the story that you have to say, right? So how would you make the girl to be interested in you? Just walk up to her, introduce your name, and introduce the position that you currently occupy. So if you have nothing to say, you say if you are a high school student living on, or if you are a university student living on the pocket monies given by your parents, then you should shut your mouth and study, rather than robbing your parents and filling the gas in your car or filling the gas in your motorbike and then going over here and there picking this dame. You're not doing justice to your parents. You're robbing them off. So asking interesting questions doesn't serve the purpose at all, right? Unless or until you are really serious about the person. So if you're serious about the person, the only thing that you need to know is you need to have some level of expertise in communicating. That's it. And finding out if that girl is interested in your passion, and likewise you are interested in her passion. So both of you should join. That is the reason, you see, doctors always marry among themselves, right? If the girl is a doctor, she will always go and marry a doctor. It's better for them to do that. The reason is that professional wise, they can understand each other, right? Honestly speaking, I wouldn't choose a doctor, because my way of thought process is totally different. So I wouldn't even go and speak with a doctor, a girl who's a doctor, because that's my interest, my liking, my way of interest is totally different. So every individual man or woman, they have their own liking. So if you were to speak topics on matters that interest them, then the likelihood of them getting into a relationship is more likely, or getting at least to offer you a date, that is more likely. So the ultimate point, what I wish to convey is, asking questions and judging them by the answers that they give will not help you at all. Because when you speak to them, Mr. Madan Gowri mentions, just ask this question: what would you do if you got 1 crore in your bank account? And he says, if the person says she will go to Las Vegas, then you can judge her that she likes to party. Well, this is idiosyncrasy. Every girl would like to party. Every girl would like to have a good time. Party means it's not drinking and smoking. Party means having a good time. So that's the point. That's a problem. So we have misconcocted words that mean differently. Who would not like to have a good time? Tell me. You got money. You got 1 crore. If a girl likes to see Las Vegas, so what is wrong in that? Nothing wrong in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a beautiful place. It's the most happening place in the world. You got the best food available. You got an opportunity to walk in close encounters with people whom you see on the silver screen. That's a nice place. So, of course, 1 crore wouldn't be sufficient. 1 crore these days is small money. So the ultimate point that I wish to say is, if you are very sincere, if you are genuine in your approach, then people would like you. Asking questions and judging them wouldn't do you much positive favor, because at the end of the day, what are you doing? You are trying to manipulate people, right? If she says that I would assume this and then I will suitably go in this fashion, that's never going to work. Most important thing that people love is the sincerity that you have deep within you. So, if you are a matured man who have got a good position in life, who is not depending on his mother or father for allowances or for living expenses, then you see a girl, not like her or judge her by her physical beauty. Physical beauty is day to day, and tomorrow it's gone, right? But the mind is the most important component. So that's what they say. The women, if she has caring aspect, if she's genuine, if she understands your pain, there is this Portuguese phrase: can you cook? Can you sew? Can you make flowers grow? Then I shall love you till my last breath. True individuality can never be manipulated. So when you are true to yourself and to the person who's before you, your relationship will always be truthful. Your relationship will always be genuine. There's no way that you can go wrong. So, sincerity, honesty, and above all, being true to your own self. That's what Shakespeare said. To thine own self be ye truthful. Right? Like the evening follows the day. It's been nice talking to you all. Until we meet again. Ciao.